Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you are making it a great day. I am Ryan, the Life Changer, and you are about to have your life changed. Whether you're having a bad day, a good day, or maybe you're just starting your day, my passion is to have a positive impact in your life. This podcast is called Unlock the Power of Your Mind. It is designed to help you harness your inner greatness and to inspire you to be the best version of you possible. So thanks for tuning in, and I hope this helps to change your life. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me for another episode of Unlock the Power of Your Mind. Today, I am super excited and fired up. We have special guest Jose Flores. Jose is an amazing motivational speaker, and he just launched a new book, Don't Let Your Struggle Become Your Standard. Jose, good morning. Thank you so much for joining me.
Good morning, Ryan. Thanks, man. I'm just glad to be here. I'm super excited as well, man, and I just appreciate you doing what you do, man.
Awesome. Thank you. And you as well. So real quick, I want to dive into what your early childhood was like, kind of tell us what your life was like growing up and how you, some turning points and pivot points in your early life.
Yeah, man. Well, I was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. So I'm a New Yorker, and I had a great childhood, man. I can't complain. I did a lot of stuff. I'm a 70s baby, so playing in the street and fire hydrants, getting wet in the summer, handball, stickball, wiffle ball, all that type of stuff, throwing rocks. I had a great childhood, man. And when I was 3 years old, I had a little tough guy walk, and everybody was like, "Oh, look at him! He looks so cute the way he walks," and everybody thought it was fun and games and cute. But then my mom noticed that a little walk wasn't going away, and so she took me to the doctors and had some tests ran, and they diagnosed me with what's called spinal muscular atrophy. It's in the muscular dystrophy family, and but that didn't really start affecting me until my later years in life. As I got into my later teens, early 20s was when it really started kicking in. So, but my childhood was phenomenal, man. I can't complain. We were part of the Boys and Girls Club, and now we were just all about having fun and hanging out and riding bikes and stuff like that. So I had a really cool childhood.
Awesome. I can tell in your voice with that little bit of that accent that you had to be somewhere from the tri-state area. I live in North Jersey, so not too far from the Bronx. But now you live in Florida. Talk to us about, explain to the listeners how you ended up moving to Florida.
Yeah, so my mom and dad, they decided to come and move down to Florida. And so they bought a house down here, and they still had the house in New York. My dad used to own a glass company. And so for one whole year, I stayed up in the house, kind of maintaining the house, and I felt like like I had the house all to myself. So you can imagine I was having friends over, parties and stuff like that. But they wound up selling the house up north, and I moved in with some friends, back in the Bronx. And then after a little while, I said, I'm kind of getting homesick. I wanted to go, visit my parents and check them out. So I was planning on coming and take a trip to Florida and stay here for like a month or two. And I moved down here, man, and I never went back.
Wow. Incredible. So I want to dive into, you have a quote, you say a lot of times you feel like people are meeting your disability before they're meeting you. So I want this podcast to be focused on you and your mindset, which I think is absolutely incredible. So I'm going to dive into some of your quotes, and maybe you can share a little bit with the listeners about what it is that you feel that means. So you said, there is someone out there that needs only what you can give. And I thought that was so powerful. Share with the listeners what that means, Jose.
Yeah, man, because, when I was younger, knowing in the back of my mind that I had this condition that was eventually going to put me in a wheelchair, I felt like I was damaged goods, like I wasn't worth anything. I felt insignificant, and I felt like I would never be able to do anything powerful or great in life because of this condition. And so when I say that, the world's waiting and needs only for what you have, what I mean by that is meaning that, the only way that you're going to be able to do something great in life, or do something powerful or of significance, is by realizing the gifts that you were naturally born with, and understanding what your purpose is and what your calling is in life. And it's not until you figure out what those things are that your life will be transformed really for the better, and just amazing things begin to happen in your life. And so the reason I said that quote was because, or made that statement, was because once you find, everybody has something to bring to the table. And I know that there's many people, and plenty of your listeners that are out there that feel like, man, I'm just living an average life, Joe, doing average things and being average. And we weren't really created to just be average. We were created to be, extraordinary and way above average, with the gifts and the talents that we were naturally born with, that were given to us. And so everybody has something to bring to the table, man. And once you realize what that special something is that you carry, because it's already built in part inside of you and it's part of your DNA, then, there's people in the world waiting for what you have, that only you have, that you were blessed with, that you were born with. Those skills, abilities, and talents that you can bring to the table, there's people out there that are waiting for you to unleash that on the world.
I love it. You say, let your uniqueness shine and wear your passion. And I thought that was so powerful, because I think that in a society today with social media and movies and entertainment, everybody is trying to be like somebody else instead of embracing their own uniqueness. So talk about the 4 Ps: purpose, passion, profit, and people.
Wow, I'm surprised that you brought that up, man. That's one of my favorites. I talk about that a lot. And, part of being unique is pretty much simply just being different, right? And a lot of times when I was growing up, I was insecure with that, because I was different from all the other kids. I was different from, other, family members and just people in my area because of the condition that I had. So I was always the different dude. And I kind of struggled with that, because I didn't want to be the different dude. Like you said, everybody wants to be like everybody else. Everybody wants to fit in. Everybody wants to be a part of something. And that's how I felt as well. I fell into that box. But, I used to be like embarrassed of taking my shirt off at the beach or the pools and stuff. So I missed out a lot, in my younger years, because of the insecurities that I had, because I felt like I didn't want nobody looking at my chest or my arms because they were underdeveloped. And so people would stare at me like, man, you're so skinny and this and that, but they didn't know that I was, fighting a condition. And so that's why I'm so passionate about showing people that it's okay to be unique and embrace your uniqueness and let that shine. Because, I had to learn to turn my what I thought was a pain, and now I'm able to turn it into a platform and shine through my wheelchair. But the 4 Ps, man, the purpose, you have to plan, purpose, prioritize, and turn it into a profit, man. And if you can follow those 4 Ps, that's going to definitely change your life and allow you to unleash the success that we all deserve, man. Because obviously they say that if you fail to plan, that you plan to fail, right? So planning is very important, and then you have to be able to prioritize all those plans, like which ones are more important than others. And then you also have to purpose them. So if you make a plan and you prioritize it and something else comes up, unless it's an absolute emergency, then you have to purpose to execute on your plan and your priorities. And sometimes we get that confused in life. And then, once you plan, you purpose, and you prioritize, man, you can make profits off of what your personal purpose is in life, like whatever your thing is in life, and that you want to become successful in. You can turn all of that into a profit.
Awesome. So there was one of the quotes that you shared in the book, which I'm sure we've all heard this many times, but you added in 2 words that really stood out to me. If you believe it, you will achieve it. But you added something else in there, Jose. You said, if you believe it and can receive it, you will achieve it. And so in listening to your book, it sounds like there was a turning point in your life where you believed it, and then you really felt that you deserved to receive it. So share with the listeners that mindset shift.
Yeah, man, that's powerful, man. And when you sent me the things that you wanted to talk about in regards to the book, I was like, man, this dude was really, this dude was really paying attention and listening, man, because those are small little details that a lot of people maybe, look over or maybe might miss, but you caught on to a lot of the stuff that I was really trying to push through the book. And yeah, man, that's a powerful statement, because a lot of times in our minds, we don't think that we're worthy enough for success, or we don't think that we're worthy enough to become wealthy, or worthy enough to have, not only things, but also the peace of mind, the joy that we want, that we all want, and the happiness that we all want to achieve. And it's not until you mentally say to yourself, you know what, I do deserve this, and I can have this, and I want to have this, and I'm going to do everything I can to make sure I can get this. Then that's when you actually change your mindset to open yourself up to receiving the blessings that are out there for you, to receiving the favor that's out there for you, to receiving those compliments and those accolades and those divine connections and by networking, and those special people that come into your life that can help catapult your career or your life to the next level. You have to be willing to receive that mentally and say, yeah, I do deserve this, and I can have this, and so why not go after life and take a hold of all the life has to offer me.
What was the turning point, Jose, in your life where you said, I am now willing to receive it, and I deserve it?
For me, it took a little longer than well, maybe not considering the scope of things, but I think that for me, it was like in my late 20s, early 30s. And, to me, that's way too long. I wish I wouldn't have waited that long, but everything happens for a reason, and everything is in God's timing. But it wasn't until my late 20s, early 30s that I said, you know what, man, if I have to, I was tired of missing out on life. Basically, that's what kind of pushed me to over the edge, was that I was missing out on life. I was being insecure with myself and worrying about what other people were thinking about me. And it wasn't until my late 20s, early 30s that I said, you know what, if I have to live my life like this, it was like reality hit me like, yo, this wheelchair is not going anywhere. This is what it is for right now. Unless you get healed or science finds some cure, this is what it is. So I had to accept that, and I had to come to grips with that and say, you know what, if I have to live like this for right now, I'm going to make the rest of my life the best of my life. And it really took for me mentally affirming myself, mentally saying to myself that, you can make it, you can still become somebody, you can still do something significant. And that was when I really started getting into personal development and people like Les Brown and Tony Robbins and John Maxwell and all these other big gurus. And I started following the YouTubes and stuff. But that's when the mindset kicked in, man, about my late 20s, early 30s. And I said, there's too much life out there for me to miss out on. And I want to go out there and take a hold of everything that I can.
When I was listening to the audio book and I heard the story that you share in the book about the Grammy producer, it put everything in perspective of what you just said, because we all have different things in life that we can look at and say, oh, this is a setback, or to say, woe is me, and feel sorry for ourselves. But then when we really put it in the right perspective, we realize that we have so much opportunity and that we all have greatness and we know that we can achieve it. Share with the listeners that story from when the Grammy producer stood up in your seminar and talked about how you inspired him when he gets out of bed every morning.
So for everybody listening, I don't know if they know this or not, if we already mentioned it, but Les Brown, who's one of the top motivational speakers in the world, he did the foreword to my book. And he had invited my wife and I to come to a training that he was doing in Orlando, Florida. And so my wife and I went there. We were around all these prominent people, and we didn't really even know it. And to be honest, my wife and I felt a little out of place. And again, this is a mindset thing, but we kind of felt a little out of place because all these people that we were around were multi-millionaires. And here we came in, and we were just average living folks, right? But it was the beginning of the mindset shift. That's where we said, you know what? We can do something spectacular in life, and we can become successful, and we can make a lot of money so that our kids and our grandkids and our great-grandkids don't have to struggle like we did. And so we started hanging around different people and listening to different things and watching different things. And when we got there, we felt a little out of place, but there was a point where we all had to share our stories, right? And so I went up to the front, and actually, there was about 50 people at that training, right? And he had 5 tables. There were 10 people at each table, and everybody had to share their stories. And then they were going to pick a winner from every table. Every table had to vote and pick who they wanted to represent that table. And then 5 people had to go in the front of the room and present in front of the whole audience. And so I wound up being the one that they picked for my table to go and speak in front of the whole audience. And as I'm up in the front sharing my story, I'm sharing with everybody that every morning my wife or one of my kids, they have to get me dressed in the bed because my condition has gotten my muscles to a point where I can no longer get dressed by myself. I can no longer do a lot of things, physical things on my own. So I need assistance, and I need to depend on people for certain things. So my wife or one of my kids, they have to get me dressed in the bed every morning. And then after they get me dressed, one of them have to physically lift me up and put me into my wheelchair, just so that I'm able to live life, right? But I told them, I said that, but once they lift me up and put me into this wheelchair, it's up to me to lift myself up mentally to be able to endure and stay in this wheelchair for sometimes up to 17, 18 hours per day, because that's how long I'm in the chair sometimes, grinding it out and trying to make my dreams become a reality. And so in sharing that story, how, they have to get me dressed and then lift me up and put me in here, and then I have to lift myself up mentally to be able to endure the struggles that I have to go through on a daily basis. It just pretty much blew the whole room away. And at the end of the presentation, Les Brown asked anybody if they had any comments or anything that they wanted to say. And this guy stood up. And at the time, I didn't even know who he was. But this guy stood up and he was at a different table. And he was like, man, Jose, I don't think that he said, I'm usually not one that's, a person that's lost for words. But, man, I don't even know what to say right now about what you just said. He said, I think that every time I wake up in the morning and I feel tired or feel lazy or I don't feel like getting out of bed, I'm going to be thinking about what you just said, because I know a lot of times we take the smallest things in life for granted, like just being able to turn over and get out of bed on my own. How dare I complain about that? And so he said, I think that whenever I feel like that ever going forward, I'm going to think about what you just said, man, because it's powerful. And then after he shared that, a couple other people shared some things. And then I wound up finding out that this guy, his name is Damasio Castellon. He goes by the name of Demo. He's actually a Grammy Award winning producer. He's produced for people like Jay-Z, Justin Timberlake, Timbaland, Missy Elliott, Michael Jackson, Madonna, and the list can go on and on. But he's also married to, he was married to a Grammy Award winning artist, Nelly Furtado. I don't know if listeners or who she is, but she was a really popular pop artist back in the day. And so just finding out who he was and his status in life and stuff like that was like mind-blowing. That right there was another shift for me, like saying, man, your story does mean something, and your story is powerful because you're impacting people who are already at the level that you're trying to get to, as far as influence and wealth is concerned and status is concerned. And not that all of that means anything, right? Because you don't have to be rich or you don't have to be at a certain level of status to be happy and be content in life, right? That's, success. And I speak about that in the book as well. Success looks different for different people, right? Depending upon what success looks like in your own mind. So my definition of success may not be the same definition of your success, but we all want to reach some level of status in life. That's a fact for most people, right? And so just hearing that come out of his mouth was just life changing right there for me, as far as the way I think and the way that I speak and the way I present, and then the story and all the things that I have to bring to the table and the impact that it's making on other people's lives.
I think it's incredible, and I hope that I encourage our listeners to get your book. But man, I listened to that part a couple times over because it really put a lot in perspective for me. So I want you to share the story from your high school graduation. And while our listeners are listening to you, Jose, share your story, I want them to think about how powerful mindset is. That's what this podcast is about. It's about unlocking the power of your mind. There was 2 voices that were going inside your head in a very short period of time there. share those voices in your head and how you were able to ultimately succeed with the correct mindset and what it meant to you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So when I was, that was that's a big moment for any teenager's life, right? Graduation. You wait, you spend 12 years waiting for that big day, right? That's like a big milestone in many people's lives. And so I was at the graduation. It's like I'm a senior. I'm 17 years old, and my condition is already kicking in. It's already becoming difficult for me to do certain things. But at this point, I'm still able to walk, and I still have full mobility, but it's becoming weaker at this point. And so I'm in my cap and gown. I'm standing, you know what I mean, in the front of the building. We all had to walk to the back of the building down a steep hill, which the ceremony was taking place on the football field. But we had to walk down a steep hill and to get, walk across the stage, get our diploma, shake hands and stuff like that. But as we're walking out the front of the building, heading towards the back field, I know that I have to walk down the steep hill. And I know that at this point in my life, my legs were giving out on me at random moments because of my condition. And I'm thinking to myself, oh, I'm going to fall. Today I'm going to fall, and I'm going to fall in front of all these people, and I'm going to be embarrassed, and I'm going to, I was like so scared. I was fearful of this. Like, this is a day that you're supposed to be happy and this is like new beginnings. You're going into adulthood and life is about to begin for you. So you should be happy and excited. And I was happy and excited, but at the same time, I was scared to death, bro, because I was thinking that my legs were going to give out on me. And that was going to be this whole big spectacle in front of these people. And everybody was going to be pointing and laughing at me. And I was going to be like the butt of everybody's jokes. And so I'm walking down this hill, and I made it down the hill. But the whole time I'm thinking, please don't fall. Please don't fall. Please, legs, don't give out on me. Don't give out on me now. And so I'm going down this hill, and I make it down the hill, and I'm like, woo, I made it. So I'm like, okay, this is looking good. And so now it's time to walk towards the stage as they're calling our names. And as I'm walking towards the stage, my right leg gives out on me, and I fall on the floor as they're calling my name. And so I fell on the floor, man. And as you heard it in the book, man, it felt like an eternity while I was on the floor. I'm looking around. It was like a movie to me. Like, I'm looking around. Everything is going slow motion. And everybody's like, you can just hear the crowd go, they take a big gasp and like, and everything goes quiet. And I'm looking around, and it's like slow motion. And I'm like, oh my gosh. In my head, I'm thinking like, they had like an ambulance crew there, and I'm thinking, man, I just want these guys to come and put me on a stretcher, man, and take me the heck up out of here, because these people are going to be laughing at me, pointing at me, asking me questions afterward, like, what the heck happened to you? Because nobody knows. Some of my classmates knew, most of my classmates knew, but their families didn't know. People that were there watching didn't know. And so I was like, dude, I was like so scared. And I just wanted these ambulance dudes to come pick me up and take me out of there. But it was a split moment while I was thinking that in my mind, saying, yo, I just want to get the heck up out of here, man. Go back into my shell, go back home, and I don't want to deal with nobody. But there was a split moment, like a few seconds, that something in my mind said, you know what? You've worked 12 years to get to this point. You've worked hard to get this diploma, and you're just going to sit there and act like you're hurt and miss out on this opportunity because your leg gave out on you? Man, you better get up. Go get that diploma. You work too hard to give up now. You've come this far to give up at this point. And you better go and get what you earned and what you've earned and what you deserve. And so at that moment, man, I said, you know what? I'm going to get up. I'm going to get my diploma. And what turned out to be one of the most devastating moments in my life turned out to be one of the greatest moments in my life. That's why I wrote about it, because it was so impactful for me, because I was able to overcome fear in my mind. I was able to overcome those voices in your head that tell you you're nobody, that you can't make it, you're never going to do nothing in life, you're never going to be nobody. And I just sit back and just live life average or below average. And I overcame that at that very moment in a few seconds. And I said, you know what? I'm going to go and get that diploma, and I'm going to make my parents proud, because I worked hard for this moment. And so a couple of my classmates, they helped me up to my feet. And then everybody in the stands, bro. When I tell you it was like a movie, and I even said it in the book that I'm glad that that the cell phones weren't available at that time, because I'm telling you, it would have been a video that would have gone viral, bro. And everybody stood to their feet and they just started clapping and cheering me on like I just won the Olympics or something, bro. And so what first started out as being like a very scared and fearful moment in my life turned out to be like a winning championship moment for me. And I got up, I walked, I continued walking, I shook the principal and my guidance counselor's hand, I grabbed that diploma, man, and I grabbed my cap and I threw that thing in the air, man, and it turned out to be one of the best days of my life, man.
It's so powerful, Jose. I had a tear in my eye when I was listening to the book, and you share that story. So to inspire and to motivate and to let our listeners out there that are going through a difficult time, what message do you want to send to them when they're feeling down? Maybe obviously your situation was unique, but hey, we've all fallen down in our lives. What message do you want to send to those people to help them get their mindset right?
Man, one of the favorite topics I like talking about is mind management. So much so that I dedicated one of the chapters in my book to mindset and mind management, because I think that, like you said, man, no matter whether you're in a wheelchair physically or you're in a wheelchair mentally, whatever that thing is that's keeping you a little insecure, or whatever that thing is that you struggle mentally with, or maybe physically, that there is a way for you to overcome that by shifting the way you think about it and shifting the way the outcome can look about it. And that was my problem, man. And I know that I'm not, some oddball from outer space, because I know that we all live on the same earth and there's nothing new under the sun, right? We've heard that saying before, that there's nothing new under the sun. Some of the stuff might be a little different and unique, as you said, but we all go through struggles in life. No matter what the struggle is, we all go through something. And as long as you can put on the proper mindset and develop the proper mindset that says, I'm dealing with this situation or the circumstance and I have to struggle with this, but you know what? How can I overcome this? That's the question that people need to be asking themselves. Is they can't have that woe is me attitude like I had for many years, or focusing on all the things that I can't do in life. And because that has a power psychologically over you, that the whole science behind positive and negative, right? If you think negative, you speak negative, you're watching negative things, you're listening to negative things, you're going to be a person that's full of negativity. But if you're doing the opposite and doing positive, then you're going to be a positive person. So it's just important for those listeners that are listening out there. If you're struggling through something, man, you got to protect what's coming into your mind through what you're watching, what you're listening to, the people that you're hanging around and that are pouring, that are putting those things and planting those seeds in your ear. You got to make sure if you're hanging around toxic people that are always, negative and talking down about themselves or you or other people, you got to get rid of those people, because they're not going to help you to get to the level that we all want to get to. And that's overcoming the struggle, right? And so the message that I would leave with them is that, you don't have to wait for the world to say that you're great, because you're already great and you have greatness already inside of you. Now you just need to unleash what's already within.
I love it. So your acronym for fear, I think, is so powerful. Feeling excited and ready. Talk to us about what that means and about how the listeners can apply that to their life to help them overcome their struggles.
Yeah, so a lot of people have heard that fear stands for false evidence appearing real, right? And that's what fear is. Sometimes we want to do something and we get scared because in our minds, we're automatically thinking the worst. And that's not necessarily the case. So feeling excited and ready was an acronym that I came up with for fear, because that's how we have to approach life every day on a daily basis. We have to feel excited and ready for life, because that's when the power of success, the power of reaching that level of life that you want to reach is released. Because when you feel excited and ready about life and you show up for life and you're expecting great things to happen, then great things are going to happen, because you're already training and developing your mind to expect those things. So you have to also have an attitude of expectancy, knowing that the things that are happening in life and expecting that good things are going to come your way, great things are going to come your way, and expect those things. And we go back to being able to receive it. So you have to condition your mind. And I know that you work out, Ryan, so you can appreciate this. And I use this analogy a lot because people go to the gym because they're working out their bodies, right? They're working out their muscles. They want to reach a certain level of physique and strength. And that they feed off of that energy that's in the gym and lifting weights and living a healthy lifestyle. And it's the same thing with the mind, man. You can work out your brain and you have to condition your brain. A lot of times these sports dudes, they go through conditioning processes so that when game time comes, they're ready. So you have to do the same thing with your mind. You have to condition your mind. You have to develop your mind. You have to strengthen your mind. You have to develop a mental toughness so that when you go into the game of life, you're ready to go in with a mindset of winning anything that you approach.
I love it. I love it. So just to kind of wrap up, I want to share with the listeners my biggest takeaway from the book. And Jose, I'm excited to share this with you. You inspired me so much with some of these different quotes. So I'm going to kind of pull them all together here. You say, sometimes the things that we are best at are sometimes what we're most afraid of. And you talk about, again, letting our own uniqueness shine and wearing our passion and taking those things that sometimes we maybe feel like are making us weak, but using them to make us strong, and that challenges in life are inevitable, but being defeated by them is optional. And I think the biggest takeaway that I had from this book is, hey guys, go out there, believe that you have greatness within you, believe that you deserve to share that greatness, believe that no matter how big or small you are, no matter what your reach is, if you can positively impact just one person from what your story is, from what your message is, that you're still being successful, and to believe in yourself and know that you have what it takes. And as long as you confront your fear and learn how to control your mindset, you're going to be able to go out there and accomplish great things. So, Jose, that was kind of my quick summary of what I took away from the book. It was just so powerful.
Yeah, man, you hit it right on the head, bro. That's exactly that's the exact point that I was trying to bring across to everybody that reads the book, man. You know, struggles in life are inevitable, but being defeated by them is optional. In other words, you have the choice whether you're going to let your situation or your circumstance control you, or if you're going to control the situation or circumstance, overcome it, and still be successful and crush your life goals.
Awesome. So share with the listeners how they can get in touch with you, where they can get your book, and some of the plans that you have for the future.
Yeah, so everybody that's listening, man, I appreciate you tuning into the show. Ryan is doing a phenomenal thing with this podcast. Continue listening, share it. But what they can do is to reach out to me. They can go to my website at www.joseinspires.com. They can get the book there. They can get the audio book there. They can also go to Amazon or Audible as well if they feel comfortable with that. And they can also follow me on any social media platform at Jose Inspires. I'm very active on social media, very engaging. I respond fairly quickly for the most part. But some of the things that I have coming up in the near future, like I'm doing a lot of traveling now. I do this full time, so I'm doing a lot of traveling. I just came back from Mississippi last month, did a big event out there. I have I have an event to go to today. I have got so many things coming up, man, and I'm just excited, man, for what God is doing in and through me and the people around me and using me, because I was always like, man, in life, I just wanted, to just be able to, get a regular job, man, and live a regular life. That was my mindset because I knew I was in a wheelchair. I thought that I wouldn't be able to do anything. So my expectation was just getting a regular job, living a regular life, and still being able to be a productive citizen, but just by barely making it. That was the mindset that I had. But man, now I'm just excited to be able to do what I do, and make a good living doing it. And at the same time, I'm impacting so many lives and showing people that, it doesn't matter what you're going through in life. There's some conditions that are worse than mine, and my condition is worse than some other people's. But, like I said in the book, a struggle is a struggle is a struggle. Just because I'm in a wheelchair and you're not, Ryan, doesn't mean that my struggle is any more or less greater than whatever struggle you may be going through, because we all go through it differently. But the whole point is going through it and getting over it and making it to the other side. And that's what a lot of people don't do. And that's why I wrote this book, because I want to help people be able to start doing that and continue doing that, because this whole thing that we call life, it is a struggle. There's never a day that's going to come where struggle is going to stop. You're never going to reach. You can be a multi-billionaire and you're still going to experience struggles. And so if you can learn how to get over one struggle, then you can learn how to get over all of them.
Incredible. Jose, God bless you. Thank you so much for making a positive impact in my life. Your book is absolutely incredible. And I just want to say thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, man. And it's a pleasure and an honor that you invited me to come onto your podcast. I appreciate you reaching out, and I'm glad for the connection that we made. And we're going to be in touch, man. Maybe we'll do another one later on, and we'll be able to do a video one so everybody can see the both of us live and direct and doing what we do, man. And I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, man, because you're making an impact in people's lives as well, by encouraging people through your own story and your own words, but then also bringing on guests such as myself and some of your other guests and using their stories as well to impact your audience. So keep doing what you're doing, man. One of the keys to success is consistency. So keep on doing it until you blow up crazy, man. I'm going to be watching and cheering you on, bro.
Thank you so much, Jose. The next time you come up to the Bronx or to New York City, man, you got to let me know, okay?
I definitely will, man. We'll link up and do lunch or dinner or something.
All right. Sounds awesome. Make it a great day, Jose.
Thanks, man. Take care, brother. God bless.
God bless. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast. It means the world to me. I hope that you were able to take some things away from what we discussed here so that you can apply it to your life to become healthier and happier. Remember, every single day, that you have greatness within you.